Hello, my name is Darian, and today I will be talking about and explaining why native Korean speakers have an accent while speaking English. The main reason accents exist is because each language has different phonetics, phonology, morphology, and syntax. So this causes speakers to pronounce sounds that closely resemble their native language, change the way sounds are produced and made, and even change word order in sentences. So for Korean, there are some English sounds that do not exist. For example, the sound V does not exist in Korean, so a native Korean speaker would pronounce a V with the closest sound that they know, which would be the biep sound. So berry, ban. Other sounds that don't exist in Korean are the F sound, which is just a voiceless version of V, and that would be pronounced with something like piep, pen, favorite. The th sound doesn't exist, so the digit is used. The, there, together. Z's are pronounced with jiet or sangjiet because airplanes. In English, there are some vowel diphthongs that don't exist in Korean, like I. So native Korean speakers tend to separate those vowels out. I, my, time, or a. These are just simple examples of the differences in phonetics between the two languages. Another reason native Korean speakers have an accent while speaking English is because they have different phonology rules. So in English, R and L are contrastive or separate phonemes, but in Korean, the R and L sounds are just allophones of the same phoneme, 류. So this means that in the Korean language, R and L are not distinguishable. This can make words like rivalry or literally hard to pronounce. Some words are also hard to pronounce because for native speakers, they have to insert a vowel for some words to follow the rules of phonology and the rules of syllable structure in Korean. So, for example, spring would be pronounced spring instead because S, P, and R cannot be pronounced in a single syllable, according to Korean phonology. Another example of vowel insertion would be that the only consonants that can end a syllable are nasal sounds, lil, and voiceless stops. So, if the end of the word ends with anything other than these sounds, according to Korean phonology, a vowel has to be inserted to allow for correct syllable structure. So, Christmas would be pronounced 크리스마스, and bench would be pronounced as benchi. And these are all loan words, but because they're loan words, when they are transferred to English, they just say it the same way. So another rule of phonology would be assimilation, and these can affect how native Korean speakers pronounce English words as well. An example would be nasalization. So give me can turn into gimme, take my can turn into tang my, and make me can turn into make me. Decolonization, for example, would be 10 minutes turns into 10 minutes. And I know it's very subtle, but these subtle differences are actually why native English speakers can tell that someone is not a native English speaker. Another rule of assimilation would be lateralization, and this is the rule that turns sol 날 into sol날. A very good example of this in the English language for Korean speakers is online. I actually had a professor that pronounced online as online, and he would always tell us that we have to look at the online lecture or go online to find the assignment. And after taking this class and researching for this presentation, I actually understand very well why he pronounced online as online. Um, So for these assimilation rules, this can make it hard for the people listening because these rules make a significant change in how words are produced and how words sound. So this was just a quick overview and some examples of how Korean phonetics and phonology can create an accent for Korean speakers that are trying to speak English. By understanding Korean phonology and phonetics, this could actually help people understand native Korean speakers when they're speaking English. And by understanding Korean linguistics in general, people can break down the Korean accent and understand why native Korean speakers speak English a certain way and are able to understand them in general. To an extent, for us English speakers speaking Korean, we can also help ourselves reduce our English accent in Korean if we understand more Korean linguistics. And I think that's actually a really good thing about this class. It actually helped me understand where my English accent is coming from and how to practice and reduce it. And this class is very good for helping pronunciation and understanding why things are pronounced this certain ways. But that is all for my presentation. I hope everyone has a good day and thank you for watching.